second. I just popped a piece of candy in my mouth. I gotta finish it off.
Man, that's what she said. I knew you were eating candy. I knew you were gonna say that.
My store not the store I work at, but the store I shop at, had 50% all off all their Halloween candy.
Well, shit, man, you can't pass that up.
I bought so much.
Oh, God. This reminds me of that really early episode. I don't know if it must have been like Easter or like Valentine's, or there was some like holiday early into us starting the podcast where you had a similar situation and you like fucking loaded up your candy bucket.
I tried to that's a lot of like post-holiday sales have kind of sucked ass over recent years. Like they don't discount it as much as they did. So when I walked in and I saw that it was 50% off, you're goddamn right I loaded up.
Yeah, well, and I think the other problem is maybe not so much with the other holidays, but obviously candy is such a big part of Halloween that places like fucking run out of Halloween candy.
Yeah, for sure. But
like
not this year.
Like last year, I remember my boss like couldn't find candy. I think he ended up buying like Christmas candy. It was just like, like normal like Reese's cups, but they had like, like candy canes on the packaging because that's all they had left. And then this year, my buddy Brian, he was looking for candy like day of or day before or something, and he had checked one place and they were out. So yeah, it's a thing.
Damn. But yeah, I got a lot, and I grabbed a couple before we started the call, and I popped one in my mouth and right as you came into the call. But yeah, right now they are in my apartment complex. They're like going around and redoing all the roofing or all the shingling, right?
Yep.
And those motherfuckers are taking their sweet time. Like they've been at it for like 2 weeks, and they've only got like 2 buildings down.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really like, I don't know. I'm starting to get worried about is like, they're slowly making their way towards my building, and right now they are like very close to my building. Like they're one building over, like on the side of the building that like is against my apartment, and I can hear them working. And I'm like, God damn it! Pretty soon they're gonna be right on top of me for like 4 days straight.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be fucking loud.
Yeah. I mean, at least it shouldn't mess with your sleep, because your sleep schedule is typically not like the hours that they would be working.
No, I can't imagine that's going to be an issue, but I just don't want to hear them like in the middle of the day.
Right. Well, welcome to episode 85. Happy election day, everybody. Well,
yeah, elect these nuts.
Oh, did you go vote today?
I will later. I got time. It's earlier for me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I pretty much got right in and out. It took me like, I don't know, 10 minutes. So that was pretty sweet.
Nice. Glad to hear it. That's important.
Yeah.
Everyone should go do that, even though it's already far too late by the time this comes out.
Yeah, but next election, go fucking vote, people.
And in every election afterwards.
Yeah, but starting with the next one. Yeah, because you already missed this one.
Yeah, you fucked up. Man. You fucked up.
So what's new, man?
You know what? I got a decent amount going on in the last couple weeks. I got a new phone for the first time in 4 years.
Wow, 4 years?
Yeah, well, I don't feel the need to replace my phone that much because I don't use my phone for much, and I don't really feel the need to have like the most like latest greatest technology, and my phone still worked fine. So the only reason I replaced it, the only reason I got a new phone is because my old phone's battery was complete shit. Like I would turn on power saving mode when I got up in the morning, and by the time I got home from work, I'd be below 10% every day.
Oof.
So I was like, all right, it's time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get new phones that often. I guess probably every like 3 years, because I always do like the 2 years of like add a monthly payment onto your cell bill, and then I usually like skate for a year when it's paid off, and then I'll usually upgrade.
Yeah, the really nice thing about my new phone is like I was able to bundle with my internet. I have internet through Xfinity, so I got a little bit of a discount off of my internet bill through it, and also because my phone's been paid off so long, I barely have much of a mobile bill, but they were running a deal that the phone I got was effectively free. So all it really is that my payments are nothing. Like I get credit on all my payments, and if I decide to switch carriers, I have to pay off whatever I haven't gotten credits for. So
yeah,
I'm essentially stuck with Xfinity Mobile and with this phone until it's quote unquote paid off, unless I want to not be. In which case I'll have to pay off the whole thing. But that is so I'm essentially still don't have a phone payment, which is really nice. It's just like a super budget phone. But again, since I don't really need like the greatest phone, it doesn't really matter to me.
Right. See, you and I are opposites there. Like I haven't owned like a computer or laptop other than a tablet in like years. But whenever I get a phone, I always get like usually like the highest end model in whatever like phone lineup I'm getting.
I feel like for someone my age, or like compared to a lot of people my age, I really don't use my phone that much. I mostly just use it as a communication tool. I don't play games on my phone. I watch videos on it, I guess, but like I really don't use my phone much.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. I mean, you do you. Why do you why, Mac? You're part of the why do you why community.
Oh, absolutely I am. And then I stopped streaming on Twitch.
Really?
And I started streaming on YouTube.
That's a thing?
Yes. So YouTube streaming has been a thing for a very long time, actually. I used to stream concurrently on Twitch and YouTube back in like 2019. It was a long time ago. The only reason I stopped was because I found out that Twitch actually had an exclusivity clause that like if you were part of their affiliate program, which I am, you aren't allowed to like stream anywhere else.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But Twitch recently has made some decisions that are decently anti-creator. For example, Twitch has gotten a lot of flack over the years for the way they split revenue with their creators. Right now, the way it is, it's a 50-50 split. So if someone gives a $5 sub on my Twitch, I get $250. Twitch gets the other $250. That's just like that's everybody. Everybody gets that same deal. But there are some people like specifically like larger streamers that have contacts with Twitch that were able to get access to like a 70-30 split. And so what everybody was expecting Twitch to do was to come out and be like, we've heard what you're saying, we get it. We're giving everybody the 7-30 split, which is what most streaming platforms do, like YouTube, for example. Okay. But no, they actually came out and said they are eliminating the 70-30 split and everybody would be getting 50-50 again.
Oh, Jesus. Come on.
And just in general, like Twitch is not a great platform for growth. Like obviously you don't use Twitch much, but when people go on to Twitch, they are almost always looking for a specific creator because Twitch does not have like an algorithm to suggest live streamers to you or anything like that. And so most people who have a following on Twitch essentially brought it from somewhere else. Like they're YouTubers who started on YouTube and then transitioned to Twitch, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And the last thing that kind of has been pushing a lot of people away from Twitch is the way they handle ads. Like ads on YouTube can be kind of rough, but they're nothing like Twitch. YouTube has essentially an algorithm for how it pushes ads to you, where if you like watch an ad on one video and then you click on another video, it won't show you another ad right away. It'll like keep track of when it shows you ads and make sure you aren't seeing ads constantly.
Right.
Twitch does not do that. If you click on one streamer, watch a 30-second ad, maybe two like 10-second ads, and then you watch the live stream for like 2 minutes and then you switch to another creator, you're going to be served another set of ads. There's no algorithm to ensure you aren't just constantly getting ads.
Right.
And Twitch has been incentivizing creators to run like way more ads. Like they want you to run like 5 to 8 minutes of ads per hour, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes is already a lot, but 8 minutes seems crazy.
That's like so like percentage wise, that's so much of the hour.
Yeah.
So I've been considering streaming on YouTube for a really long time. Especially since my channel's been going gangbusters and gaining views like a motherfucker, you know?
Right.
The reason I haven't is one like really small, like one really big thing that really bothers me about the way that YouTube handles live streams. If you stream on YouTube and then you leave like the VOD up after you're done streaming, for the longest time, it would just show up in the same area as all of your regular uploads. So someone coming to my channel, where I post like 2-3 times a year, would see all of my live streams grouped in with all my videos, and it would just look like I'm a gaming channel, you know?
Right.
And I didn't want that. I didn't want to cause that confusion.
That makes sense.
But they recently finally changed it so that if you post a live stream or if you post a short, which are the clip, it's like, you know, the TikToks on YouTube essentially, or if you post a video, they all have their own separate categories on the channel.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
So that finally convinced me to give YouTube streaming a chance and try to really make that transition.
Nice.
And
well, good.
And it's been going really, really well.
Good. Getting a lot of
I'm getting a lot of like extra viewers. Like my views are up quite a bit compared to Twitch. Because a lot of people who follow me on YouTube have never either don't use Twitch or never made the transition, whatever. Now that I'm on YouTube, it's much easier for them to see me and to like stop in, and I'm getting much more consistent viewership. And then even after the stream is done, like the VOD is getting recommended to people. So the streams have been getting really good views, and the after effect of that is that all of my YouTube videos get a small bump in views every time I stream, because the algorithm is like seeing that I'm getting more views than normal.
Nice. That's solid.
So it's kind of just been a win-win across the board. Like I honestly expected viewership to drop off a little bit after I switched to Twitch as people like got used to it, but it's kind of been nothing but a win-win.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Did you I was going to ask if you had a good Halloween.
Yeah, I went to a Halloween party, which, as I'm sure you would know, is fairly unusual for me.
That is highly unusual.
I'm not exactly a party dude, you know?
Right.
But no, one of the people that I go to trivia with was having a Halloween party and invited me. And one of my other friends, the friend who initially invited me to trivia, was planning to go. So I was like, okay, there'll be someone there that I know. There are a couple other people that I like know at least a little bit. Like, this will be a good way for me to like make some friends, like get to know these people better, whatever.
Yeah.
So the party, I was told that the party starts at 7, and a little known fact about introverts: we never show up on time to parties because we don't want to be the first ones there.
Okay.
Because that's just like a lot. Like being around like a small group of people like that when it's supposed to be like a party environment. That's a lot to ask of us introverts, you know?
Yeah, it's I mean, all the attention is drawn to you if you're the first one there.
Exactly. So I went at 7:30 and I was apparently the first one there.
Oh no.
So there was like 4 other people. Only one of them, the person I go to trivia with, I sort of knew. I wouldn't really consider her a friend. I just like kind of knew her. But it was, so the first like half an hour was extremely awkward as I just like tried to converse with these people I don't know at all. But then eventually some people that and my friend that I expected to show up didn't show up at all. They completely bailed on it, which is totally fine. It's not like I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, you didn't show up? But I was a little bit like, damn it, I was hoping they were gonna be here, you know?
Yeah.
But eventually some other people that I knew showed up, and everybody there was really nice, and I had a really fun time, and it was cool.
Nice. That's good.
Nothing particularly interesting happened during the party. We played some Mario Kart. I got to show off my Mario Kart skills. I won. I'm epic. I'm a gamer.
Nice. I had a friend call me up on Halloween and say like, "Hey, you want to come over and hang out with us? We're just we got our fire pit in the driveway and we're just passing out candy. Like if you want to come by, you can bring Lily with you and yeah, just hang out." So I did, but the best part of it was we kept making up like dialogue of Lily talking about how great of a time she had. So for example, it was like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, I was at this Halloween party and you're not going to believe it. There was a cow there. But it wasn't a cow. It was a person dressed like a cow. And then there was a dog, actually 2 dogs. One of them was a real dog, but one of them was a person dressed like a dog. And that dog was petting me. It was wild."
It sounds very goofy.
Yeah, it was a pretty goofy time. So we kept doing that. But yeah, that was about the extent of my Halloween.
Yeah, other than that, I didn't really do much. I just, enjoyed the season that always ends too fast.
Oh my gosh, Halloween actually started out as, I didn't even realize this until I'm telling this now. I didn't even make the connection about it being Halloween, but I had like a really goofy start to my day on Halloween. I don't know if you ever have days like this, but do you ever wake up and the best way I can describe it is you just feel dumb? Like,
yeah, every single day I've ever been alive.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
I'm a dumb motherfucker. No. What can I say?
But like there's some day, like I just woke up last Monday and like the best way I can describe it is, I guess, not for you, but for others listening, is like maybe a little bit like you're kind of hungover and confused, but I didn't have anything to drink. I just like woke up like, and I was just real confused all day. Like nothing was going right. I was like driving to work and a freaking rock hit my windshield and chipped that.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. And then I was at my one account and I was just being really dumb. And I saw like a parent and a kid shopping. And I was like, why the fuck is that kid dressed like a pirate? And I was like, oh. I was like, oh, yeah, it's Halloween. Okay, that's okay. And then later on in the day,
I'll forgive it this time.
later on in the day, I almost sat in poop.
What does that mean?
It means exactly what you think it means. So I like stopped to use a public restroom, and I like went in and I was like, okay, seats down. You know, you do the check to make sure there's toilet paper. Apparently somewhere in this, like me entering this stall and checking to make sure the seat was down and there was toilet paper, I missed the fact that there was a giant piece of fecal matter just sitting on the fucking seat.
That's fucking disgusting.
It is so disgusting. And I like went to sit down and I was like, nope, I see you now. So then I had to like, you know, pull up the pants and move to the next stall. But yeah, it was starting out as like a real weird day.
God, that's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't. That would have been much, much worse.
Yeah, that's true. That was just an
could have been a
almost,
much more tragic story.
God. Oh, I would have just killed myself right then.
We're just gone home, showered, and gone to bed. Like, today is not happening, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's already like how that day was feeling. But then I managed to dodge that turd. But yeah, man, other than that day was not working out well. But then at night it was fine and I had a good time on Halloween. So it ended up being
well, that's
okay,
great. That's fantastic.
The thing that I'm not excited about is this time change has really been fucking with me.
Really?
And it's only been a couple days. Like, I'm not, half my clocks like change themselves. So I'm always like a day or two behind on changing like the wall clocks or whatever. And
sure. I also don't get around to that for a couple of days most of the time.
Yeah, I think I've got one more I've got to change. I think I got all the rest of them. But I was sitting here on, it was like Sunday. I guess we'll call it evening. But like the sun had apparently just gone down. And it's going down earlier and earlier as it is. And I like look out and I'm like, oh damn, it's dark out. I was like, I guess I should probably start thinking about getting ready for bed here pretty soon. And I like look at the clock on the wall and I was like, oh damn. Like it's only like 7:30. And then I was like, oh fuck. I didn't change that clock. It's only 6:30. Like I gotta find something to do with the next couple hours. I can't go to bed now. It's 6:30. Like it's not even night yet.
It's still rock o'clock.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that fucked with me a little bit Sunday and yesterday, and it's dark out now. So, that's where we're at.
Yeah, sun's going down earlier here too. But, just is what it is. It's been raining a ton here, which, of course, I love, like, basically every day.
Right. Nice.
Gotta love me some Oregon fall time.
I will say, I can't complain too much about, like, the weather, though, because it's been pretty warm here. Like, I think maybe there's been, like, one day where I've worn, like, a light jacket. But other than that, I've still just been rocking either long sleeves or short sleeves, but no required jacket. So that's been nice.
Just the right temp, no jacket required.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that kind of reminds me. Speaking of jackets and it getting colder and, maybe needing to just, add like another little layer,
Sure.
I've got a little bit of a story and it's going to be a little longer. But it shouldn't take up too much time. My coworker Brian, I'm not going to completely throw him under the bus. He had a little bit of a wardrobe dress code conflict, if you will.
Okay.
It wasn't anything that bad.
Just a little nip slip. It happens to the best of us.
Like I said, we've had some days where it's been a little colder. And Brian was wearing like, I don't know, I'll say dress pants, but I mean, they were like not non-jeans. I don't know what kind of pants he was wearing, but his pants were fine and he had like a collared shirt on. He just had like over his collared shirt, he was wearing like a thermal.
Okay.
And it definitely it wasn't like business attire enough to like, I don't know, I guess look professional enough. But I get it. It was cold. He just threw it on. Whatever. I wouldn't have said anything about it. It wasn't that big of a deal. But that happening this last week reminded me of a really good Casual Friday story. Now, Mac, have you ever worked anywhere that had like professional attire?
Nope.
Okay. Well, this would have been about 15 years ago. So this is going back quite a while. And I'm working this internship for this auto company. I know I've talked about it before. I worked at an auto plant. In there.
Yeah, the one that had what, like the one that they tried to fucking squish animals with the forklifts.
Yeah, where they tried to kill rats coming out of the dumpster. Yep.
So fucked up.
Yeah, the exact same place. Anyway, so in the office staff needed to dress like, like whatever, like business attire or business casual was fine, like khakis and a polo.
Sure. Makes sense.
Like some guys would wear like a suit and tie, but that wasn't like required. And there was this guy that I worked with. John was a great guy. R.I.P. John, actually. He's no longer with us, but super good.
Pour one out for a legend.
Yeah. Super good dude. He was probably, I was young. I was like 20, 21. I think he was like maybe late 20s, early 30s at the time. But to like paint a picture of him, he was like kind of hyper masculine, but not in like an off-putting way.
Okay.
He just like did manly things. Like he like used to be a Marine, and then he would like hike, and he had like a classic car and a motorcycle, and he had like a really sweet beard. But then he also like had this other side where like his hiking led him in to do like modeling for Moose Jaw and
hyper masculine shit, dude.
Yeah, and he wrote poetry and I think he drew anime as well, actually. But I'm telling you that to kind of paint a picture of this guy. So we had started doing Casual Fridays, and it was some sort of situation where like anybody who gave like $1 or $2 on Fridays could wear jeans to work. And then, you know, like whatever, at the end of the year, we like donate the money or whatever, something like that. So, you know, the first couple weeks, like, you know, people are kind of like forgetting that we've started doing this or whatever. So not everyone's like participating. But we're probably like a month in, and you know, this guy John, he's dressed well. I don't know if he was wearing like a polo and jeans, or he might have even been wearing like a dress shirt with like a suit jacket over it, and then just like a pair of jeans. Always a really good dresser. But there was this one manager who always was like way, way, way overdressed for work. Like, dude looked like he was coming out of like Sunday church, or like coming out of, I don't know, like a jazz club in like the 1920s or something. Like he would have like silk 3-piece suits with like matching suspenders and like matching ties and matching pocket squares, and
the dude just wanted to look fresh.
Yeah, he was looking fresh, all right. And we noticed that he was still like wearing a suit on Fridays, and you know, a couple of us were doing the thing that you do on Friday where you just kind of stand around your cubicles and have a conversation. And this guy, he walks in, and John looks at him and goes, "Oh, hey, Yusuf, how come you're not wearing jeans today? It's Friday." He looks at John. He looks him up and down and goes, "I don't even know where I'd buy clothes like that." And goes into his office.
Damn. That's like,
yeah,
the least offensive but sickest burn I've ever heard.
Yeah. Dude, we laughed about that like for years. I don't even know where to buy clothes like that.
What a fucking legend.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, shit. But I haven't thought about that story in years, and the whole Brian wardrobe story made me think of that the other night, and I was like, holy shit, I gotta tell this story. But yeah, my whole point in painting the picture of John was to let you know that he was like, you know, he dressed well. It's not like this guy was commenting on his clothes.
He wasn't dressing like you schmucks. He was getting going.
Right. Dude used to be a model. I mean, come on. Guy knows how to dress, man.
Yeah.
But
damn.
I don't even know where I'd buy clothes like that.
What a legend. I wonder where he is today.
I don't know, man. He might not be with us either. He was kind of older.
Well, I hope he's still out there. I hope he's still kicking around, fucking judging other people for their choice of wardrobes.
Exactly. God, he had to be like 70 at the time. And this would have been like 2006. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I just misjudged his age, but he seemed like he was an older gent.
Ageist much, Mike?
Yeah, right? God. Such a fucking dick.
So last week I didn't have time, but I definitely have time this week. I wanted to tell a story about some computer things I was dealing with.
Okay.
And I'll try to keep this in as simple of terms as possible for you boomers out there. So my computer, is a custom built computer, but I did not build it. I bought this computer in 2017, I believe, and I knew enough about computers to choose good parts, but I did not know enough about computers to feel confident building my own. So I just picked out the parts and paid someone else to build it for me.
Okay.
Now, there are a number of interesting parts in my computer. You know, I don't have just the normal, like, you know, CPU, GPU, motherboard, all the normal stuff. I have some extra things. Since I'm a video editor and a gamer, I need a lot of storage space. So I have on my computer a giant dock for hard drives, and through that I have 20 terabytes on my computer.
Okay.
Which is a lot of fucking storage. It's 20,000 gigabytes. Is that right? Yeah. 20,000 gigabytes. I have a lot of fucking storage because I need a lot of storage. But recently I wanted to do some upgrades for my computer because even though it's not exactly like a slow computer, it is about a bit out of date. My CPU is a bit old. My GPU is a bit old. It's about time I do get some upgrades. So I wanted to upgrade my CPU in particular because the CPU is the brains of the computer. It handles a lot of the processing. CPUs are especially important. They're important for gaming, but they're especially important for video editing because it can allow your computer to do a lot of different things all at once, such as like rendering video or like switching between applications. And I mentioned, actually, I don't remember if I talked about this. It was during my last video, I was switching a lot between two different programs. And because my CPU is so old and because what I was asking it to do was so taxing, I couldn't have both of them open at once, which really slowed down my my editing process. On top, you know, not ignoring how much extra time rendering added, having to close and reopen applications constantly also really slowed things down.
Yeah. You had talked about how that was an issue during that video.
Yeah, so I decided to upgrade my CPU, and my old CPU is pretty old. It was an Intel 7th gen, and for context, they just announced the 13th gen, so it's decently old at this point. And when they upgrade generations of CPUs, every couple of generations they have a new socket type that the CPU has to go in. So because my CPU was so old, my CPU was if I wanted to upgrade my CPU, I also needed to upgrade my motherboard because I needed the upgraded socket for the new CPU.
Okay.
So you know, upgrading a motherboard is kind of a lot. It's you know, it's not quite on the same level, but it's practically rebuilding the entire computer because your motherboard is just the central part of your entire computer. Everything plugs into the motherboard, right?
Yeah.
So in order to replace the motherboard, you practically have to fucking redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I picked out a new motherboard and I picked out a new CPU and I picked out a new cooler for my CPU since the cooler I had on my old CPU also wouldn't be compatible with the new socket. The parts came. The parts came, and I was, you know, ready to get to work, upgrading my computer. Now, I know a lot about my computer at this point. If I wanted to build a new computer from scratch now, I could. I would not need to pay someone else to build it for me anymore. I know very well what everything in my computer does. I know what it plugs into. I know all that stuff. I'm pretty well versed on computers at this point. But with that being said, I've had this computer since 2017 again, so a fucking long time. 7 years? Oh my god, I've had this computer a long time.
Okay.
Sorry, no, 5 years. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, math.
5 years. I've had this computer for 5 years, and in all that time, I've never been able to figure out where my boot drive is. And for anyone who doesn't know, a boot drive is, you know, the hard drive that your operating system is installed on that your computer boots from. if you don't have a boot drive, your computer can't start because it doesn't have an operating system to boot to.
Okay, that makes sense.
And for some reason, I've never been able to find my boot drive. I don't know why, but it's always been like fucking invisible. And I know my boot drive is a solid state drive. It's not a hard drive because solid state drives are faster. And they're better for like having for booting off of, and they're better for installing important programs onto. So that's why my boot drive is an SSD. And SSDs are much smaller than hard drives, and they take a couple different forms. There's a solid state drive that connects to the same slot that a hard drive would. And then there's an NVMe, and I forget what that's called, and then there's NVMe solid state drives, and those attach directly to your motherboard. There are NVMe slots that you would connect an SSD to. Okay. So I know all of this, and I've constantly like looked and tried to figure out like where the fuck is this SSD? I can't find it. None of the NVMe slots on my motherboard had a solid state drive in them. I couldn't find like a non NVMe drive anywhere on my anywhere connected to my motherboard, anywhere in my computer case, nothing. And I couldn't figure it out. And so when I was upgrading my computer, the one thing I was really careful about was like making sure that I knew what all the cables went to and what they needed to plug back into so that everything would work when I turned the computer back on, right?
Right.
But I was worried that I wouldn't even be able to start the computer because I couldn't find my solid state drive. And I was like, okay, I am ripping everything out of my computer so I can replace my hard drive. Certainly I will find my solid state drive somewhere in this computer, right?
You would think, yeah.
And immediately someone might be thinking like, okay, he mentioned earlier he had this hard drive dock where I have 6 different hard drives all plugged into it. Maybe it's in one of those slots and Mac just isn't aware of that. Maybe he just didn't notice it was in there. And I'll put that idea to rest right now. It is not. I have none of those bays were filled when I got the computer. I've personally installed all of the hard drives. I know that none of them are my boot drive. So that was something I had thought about, but never was a thing.
Okay.
The only other thing I could think of is, and this is not a common feature, but some motherboards do have the ability to connect an SSD onto the back of the motherboard, the part of the motherboard that you don't see that's like flat up against the computer case. So I was like, maybe my motherboard is one of those ones. Maybe that's where it is. And I get to work ripping everything out of my computer. I get to work unplugging everything. I get to work, unscrewing my motherboard and pulling it out. And lo and behold, there is no SSD on the back of my motherboard either. So I've now unplugged everything. I know what every cable runs to. I still don't know where my boot drive is.
Okay.
And I at this point, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just going to hope that it still starts. I'm going to hope that one of these cables somehow leads to the boot drive, and I don't know it, even though I'm fairly certain I know where all these cables run to. I replace the motherboard. I get everything plugged back in. I get the new motherboard and cooler installed. Everything's going well. I plug my computer back in, get everything set up, and I turn on the computer, and it boots just fine.
Okay.
So somewhere along the way, I had, reconnected or disconnected and reconnected my boot drive. I had to. There's nowhere else it would be connected to. It would only be connected to the motherboard.
Huh. So you still don't know where it's at?
No, I do now. We're getting there.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
So, one thing I wanted to do, an additional upgrade on my computer. There's a lot of little things that I want to upgrade on my computer, but I wanted to set up a new boot drive. The reason for that is that my current boot drive is pretty small. It's only 250 gigs, which 5 years ago when I, bought this computer, 250 gigs of solid state memory was really expensive. Solid state drives are much, much cheaper now, but it was really expensive back then. And that's just the way that technology goes, memory in specific, gets cheaper every year. I mean, we've talked about it before on this podcast, how when I was a kid, like a 16 gig flash drive was like an unbelievable thing to think about, and it was super expensive. But now I can get a 32 gig flash drive for like a quarter of the price, you know?
Yeah, well, to give you an example, remember that goofy Eddie Bauer flash drive with like the laser pointer built into it that I had?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. That was like less than a gig, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 256 megabytes.
Yeah. So that's the way that memory has always gone. Memory in terms of technology is like one of those things that just constantly gets cheaper, and solid state drives have been no different. So I wanted to upgrade from a 250 gig solid state drive to a 2 terabyte solid state drive because I've constantly over the years had problems with this solid state drive filling up. And I decided to get an NVMe solid state drive, again, one that connects directly to the motherboard so that I wouldn't have to take up an additional one of my hard drive bays in my hard drive dock.
Okay.
So in order to install my new SSD, I would not need to unplug my old boot drive. That would be completely unnecessary. So I wasn't worried about that. The solid state drive comes and I get it installed and I get all of the files transferred over and it's all set up and ready to go. Okay. I no longer need my old boot drive. And I was kind of thinking to myself, like, I really got to figure out where this boot drive is, because if I can find it, I potentially have another spot that I could plug in an additional larger hard drive and increase my capacity some more, because I'm a fucking storage junkie and I hoard files like a motherfucker, you know?
Yeah.
And so I get into my computer and I start like running my fingers along the cables that would lead to hard drives or SSDs, just to like make sure I didn't miss anything. Like all of my hard drive cables lead to the exact same spot, and that is where my boot drive is, right? Like that, or sorry, that's where my hard drive dock is, right? That makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So I individually run my hands along all these cables to like see which one connects to what. Like okay, this one connects to my 8 terabyte hard drive. This one connects to my 2 terabyte hard drive. This one connects to my 2 terabyte SSD. And eventually I find one of the cables does not lead directly into the hard drive dock.
Well, where does it lead?
It goes underneath it.
What?
My hard drive dock is this huge piece of machinery in my computer. My boot drive for the past 5 years that I could not find has been underneath the hard drive dock.
Damn. All right.
I finally fucking found it.
Mystery fucking solved.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's been here. It's been right here the entire time.
Right under your damn nose.
So yeah, I ripped that motherfucker out and replaced it with my 2 terabyte SSD, and then I slotted in a different hard drive, and computer's running better than ever. But I was one of those like huge. It was like a point of shame for me. It's like I know so much about computers. I know so much about my computer. I know enough about computers to fully replace a motherboard and CPU, 2 major parts of a computer's systems. But I still can't find my fucking boot drive. Right? Like it was this like major point of shame for me. But
right.
I finally did it. I finally found it. I know where it is. It's no longer in the computer. It's been taken the fuck out.
Nice. Wow.
My 5-year journey to find the boot drive is over.
You found the boot.
I found the boot.
Congratulations, Mac. I'm glad you found the boot.
Thank you. I couldn't be prouder.
Oh yeah. Give a little shout out to my boy Matt. He works him and I used to work together at a pizza place, along with our other buddy Charlie. Matt had listened to the podcast like pretty early on. I think he listened to like an episode or two, but he recently started listening again, and he's blasted through like, I don't know, like 15 or 20 episodes in like the last couple weeks.
Oh, nice.
And then I think Charlie is I think he's going the opposite way. I think he's just listening to the fresh episodes. But yeah, Matt's starting from the beginning, and he's plugging right along. So yeah, got a couple new listeners.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah. Mac, I had a little bit of an interesting Taco Bell experience the other day.
Man, I haven't had Taco Bell in a bit.
Okay, so neither had I. Like, it seriously, I think it might have been like probably close to a year. It had been a really long time. But it was like Sunday afternoon, and I was like, I don't feel like cooking anything. I was like, I'm gonna swing by Taco Bell. Well, I get there and I see that the inside is open. And Mac, you know how I feel about drive-thrus.
Fucking hate them.
Fucking hate them. Go in, get your food to
I'm
go.
right there with you.
So I went.
Fuck it up. It's nothing against the workers. I blame everything on the quality of the microphone. It's not a good microphone for that kind of setup.
Right, exactly.
They cannot fucking hear you. They're going to mess it up.
Yeah, so I go in, and this was a little bit of an experience because first of all, like, there's a couple people eating at like a table. And then there's just like a bunch of workers and like a couple people who look like they might be like district manager kind of people. They were giving off that kind of vibe. And I like walk in, and it's like kind of dark in there. But I was like, all right, whatever. And I like walk up to the counter, and the one employee walks up to the counter, and he's like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'd just like to place an order. And he's like, oh, I think we're kiosk only right now. And I was
what do you
like,
mean you think?
Yeah, exactly. Which, it's whatever. Kiosk is fine.
I fucking love those kiosks. It's like all the convenience of ordering online without having to order online and like pay a service fee.
Right, Mac, you're with me, because as another picky eater, if you have to like alter anything, it's better to have it. It's so
much easier to do it on the kiosk.
Yes, because
I love those things, man.
Yeah, so I was like super happy about that. I was like, okay, cool, kiosk done. I'm like placing my order, and it asks me if it's for like carry out or dine in. So I put carry out. And it like prints me out a receipt, and I like sit there and wait. They have like little like chairs to wait for your order. So I'm sitting there, and a couple minutes go by, and that same guy that talked to me before was like, are you waiting for food? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, what's the name on your order? And I was like, Mike. And he like turns around to the kitchen as there's like 4 employees in the kitchen just like standing around. And I'm not ragging on them particularly for standing around, because I actually don't think there was anyone in the drive-thru at the time. And, you know, we love to stand around at work. Totally. But he was like, order for Mike up front. And like nobody does anything. And like 30 seconds go by, and he like turns around, and he's like, Mike's up front. And they're like, wait, what? And this whole time they're having like a meeting over in the corner of the restaurant. So it was just an experience. That's all. I don't know. Maybe
Did you get your food?
I got my food and it was made correctly. So I can't really complain, but
Just strange.
oh yeah, and then like the guy who gave me my food like didn't give me a cup for my drink.
That happens a lot at Taco Bell. I always have to remind them.
Yeah, I don't see. I didn't know if this was just a breakdown because, like, you know, usually the cashier like gives you the cup and then somebody else brings you your food. But it was a kiosk. There wasn't like a cashier to take my order and give me a cup. So,
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just weird. It was really weird. But I got to go inside. So
maybe the Taco Bell was haunted.
Yeah, that was my first time physically inside a Taco Bell in probably like 3 years. Like, it's been a long ass time. They're always fucking closed.
There's something fucky with like the Taco Bells around there in particular, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. That one by World Market, man, that one fucks me every time.
That one's definitely got something going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And you wouldn't think in that area that you'd have that many issues. Like, that's a pretty nice area. You'd think they'd have their shit together.
Yeah, it's like the affluent part of town.
Yeah. But it's been like years and years that they've been fucking shit up. Like, every single time I go there. God. I know I told that story like pre-pandemic, how they just like weren't open on time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like went to the drive-thru like, yeah, we're not open yet. I'm like, oh. It says you open at 7. Well, yeah, we're not open yet. Okay. All right. Well, I guess you're not open.
There was one time Sean and I went to Steak and Shake, which I miss dearly. And we like sat down. It was like a really busy night for Steak and Shake. And we sat down and like a waitress came over and took our order. And then we just fucking sat there for like 20 minutes. And being that both of us have worked in service of some form at some point in our lives, neither one of us spoke up about it because we were like, I'm sure they're just busy. And eventually she like came over and she was like, did you guys order? And it was like, yeah, you took our order. And she like straight up forgot about us and just didn't question why two fucking weirdos were sitting at one of our tables that she hadn't gotten orders from until just then, apparently.
Yeah.
But it didn't end there though. Like another, I swear, like 20 minutes goes by. We still don't have our food. This time she didn't forget about us, but she was like, we're so busy back there. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll make sure you guys get your shakes taken off of your seat for the wait time. And we were both like, okay, that's great. Thank you. And we eventually got our food and it was fine. But then when we went to pay, they still charged us for the shakes. But neither of us really questioned it. So,
I mean, I've never worked as a waiter, but I feel really bad for wait staff. So like, I get it. I know stuff happens, but
I mean, I'm pretty forgiving, but that was definitely like pretty egregious.
Yeah. Yeah. Not like the story with Riley at Red Robin.
We're not talking about that. I'm fairly certain we've told that story before.
Well, we have. I didn't want to tell it again, but that was another situation where Tom like blew that service way out of proportion.
Tom made that an issue. It wasn't that bad.
No.
Certainly not bad enough to like write a bad review. Come on, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, get with it. God, I wonder how that Aussie fuck is doing.
Yeah, I was thinking about him the other day.
Yeah. God, I keep telling myself I'm going to stop in there and say hi, but I just never do.
I keep telling myself I'm going to stop in there and then I remember how long that would take.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Nope. I did. I was over by the mall for some reason the other day. I don't remember what. Oh, I was picking up clothes. Which is real close to the world market here, and I thought about stopping in just to like be in that environment. And then I was like, nah, fuck that. I don't go to world market for the environment. I go there for the people I used to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Although I don't know, maybe going in and getting a tin of Nyakers right now might be good for the soul.
I am thinking about doing that. I do love those fucking ginger snaps, dude.
Yeah, man, the ones in the red tin, the thin ones.
Yeah, they just, because I worked at World Market so long, they just kind of taste like Christmas.
Right? Right? God.
Yeah. Like I didn't have ginger snaps in my like family's desserts as a child, but it certainly tastes like Christmas to me now.
Right? God, those things are so damn good. Shit, yeah. I might have to fucking stop this week and go get some.
You better go before they're gone, man. They don't last long. You know that.
I know exactly how
and they'll be gone in a week.
Yeah, man. That and the chocolate oranges and the mincemeat.
Actually, those stick around.
What's that?
The Stollen.
The Stollen.
Und der Marzipan.
Oh, God. Oh, I ran into our boy Jeff a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah? How's he doing?
He's doing good. It's funny. I ran into him as I was going into one Kroger, and then his wife came in a couple minutes later, because he told her that he ran into me, so she came in to say hi, and then like literally a week later, I ran into his wife at a different Kroger.
Damn.
Yeah, it was the one over by our house that time, but I was still working, and it was the same day of the week. It was like exactly a week later, so. I don't know, or maybe it was 2 weeks, but it doesn't matter. Same day of the week, at a Kroger, member of the same family. Close enough.
When I got my new phone, I had to transfer over all of my old pictures, and I found a screenshot of that one email he sent when he was like looking for someone to cover his shift. That was just like super Jeff and super like eloquently written.
Yes. Man, I remember this.
I'm trying to find it now. I can't find it, but
oh yeah, wasn't it something like it would be agreeable if someone would have the ability to relieve me of my work responsibilities on the 14th of April. Kindest regards, Jeff.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. He used such like professional formal language. Like, you would be doing me the greatest favor, and I would be forever in your debt if you would do me the favor of covering my shift.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I'll have to try to find that for like next episode so I can read that for people. It's very funny.
Yeah, and if you know, for those of you who know Jeff, that is like spot on him. He is very.
It was such a Jeff thing to do.
Yeah, he's very eloquent. Good dude. Miss working with him.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Well, yeah.
Thanks for watching. That was the end of this one. It was Breakroom Nachos 85.
85. All right, man.
Thanks for listening. Give us 5-star on Spotify. Subscribe to Captain Mack on YouTube and join. Oh, hey, the 24-hour live stream, December 17th/18th.
Oh, damn. Okay. You're doing a little before Christmas.
Well, one weekend is Christmas and one weekend is New Year's Eve. So it was like the only real weekend we could do.
I gotcha. All right. Mark your calendars, people. We're actually getting this one. We're getting the word out early this time, so yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely poggers, and you should definitely join it.
For sure.